Hi, my name is Claire. I'm going to tell you about how my dad once sold me to a business partner, like I was some kind of commodity. And all because, as my father used to say, a relationship between people can be forever, but a business relationship is always beneficial to both parties, because this alliance will become lasting. That's how he saw my future, except he forgot one little detail about my feelings. I am a girl who grew up in luxury. Money was always on my credit cards. I could afford to buy everything. But by the time I was 19, I realized that there are some things in the world you can't buy with any of the millions in the world. Love and devotion. I was as faithful to my father as a daughter could be. Even when my mother tried to run off with her lover and asked me to cover for her, I didn't, because I thought my dad was the victim and that the bad person was my mom. She left, my father's business shook a little, and the pressure from the press was not good for his reputation, especially when it turned out that my mother's love was a security guard. The two of us started living together alone, and times were tough. Dad spent almost all his time at work, and then one day he came home in a great mood. I was already thinking, wow, good news at last. Then Dad told me that an old childhood friend of his was flying in. He was a big businessman and had a lucrative offer. I kissed my dad goodnight and wished him good luck. I didn't know then that it was the last time I would kiss my father so sincerely and lovingly before I went to bed. The next day I went about my business, and in the evening, when I came home, the maid handed me 2 beautiful boxes. "This is a gift from your father." Inside the boxes was a note.
"Wear this tomorrow and come to that address. There is a great excuse to celebrate something awesome. Kisses, Dad."
That's all it said, so I did as instructed. At 9 a.m., I was already ready. A gorgeous white delicate floor-length gown, tight-fitting, tall hairstyle, and Jimmy Choo shoes. I looked divine. "You look like a bride," the maid said to me, and I smiled. Yes, it seemed strange to me, too, that my father had thrown a banquet at 9 a.m. in the morning and asked me to wear a certain outfit, but I was a faithful daughter. I arrived at a 5-star hotel. Security guards were swarming around outside. I was escorted by hand into a huge hall decorated with roses. There were expensive cars everywhere and flowers. Wow, is my father's deal that grand? I thought. They should have sent me a black dress for greater effect, I said to myself and walked to the center. The priest came up to me, called my name, and then congratulated me. What? Why is he congratulating me? I looked around and people were sitting on both sides of the pews, all staring at me, smiling and congratulating me. The priest stood at the other end of the hall, and next to him were guys and girls I didn't know. Damn, is this somebody's wedding? Then my father came up to me, took me under his arm, and shoved a bouquet of flowers into my hands.
"Yes, these are yours,"
he said. My head was spinning from shock, but my father held me tightly to him.
"No time to explain, just take it as a show. Get married, and I'll explain it to you later," he said.
I started breathing deeply, and I saw a guy coming out of the crowd ahead of me. "Dad, are you kidding me?" I asked, and then the music started playing loudly, and Dad led me down the aisle with a stranger. I knew that if I got hysterical, it would be worse, because I was a businessman's daughter, and I was used to just keeping my chin up. In the front pews, I recognized his childhood friend, Mr. Charles, and that guy, my future husband, was his son. Dad walked me forward, the bouquet was picked up by the bridesmaid, and that guy took my hand, and we turned to face the priest. We repeated his speech, then I had to say his name, and I didn't know his name.
"Kevin, my bride is too excited."
The audience laughed, and I squeezed out a smile. God, what the hell am I doing here? I just came to eat, that's all. I have a manicure tonight and a date with that hottie. Well, this one's kind of cute too, but damn. Claire, get a grip. This is work. We said our vows, and then the priest said,
"You may kiss your wife."
I barely had time to say, "Your what?" before Kevin was already kissing me on the lips, and the audience was applauding. And then the party started. After half an hour, I took my father aside and began to say in quiet indignation, "You planned this all along? What, you decided to sell me? How much is he paying you?"
"Hush, daughter. Lots of emotion. We'll talk at home, but for now, just enjoy."
We arrived at home in the dead of night. Me, Dad, Mr. Charles, and Kevin. Our father said it was a forced measure, as it was a gesture against the enemy.
We've strengthened our position in the market. Our stock is up tenfold, all because of your wedding. Live for a month, another month. What's it worth to you? And yes, don't show up in the press without each other.
Those were their terms. We were placed in a penthouse downtown, holding hands in public, smiling, and I was trying to laugh at Kevin's jokes. We were told not to leave the apartment for the first 2 days. What did he think I was? What am I, some kind of merchandise? Why doesn't anyone take my opinion into account?
Come on, take it as a job. Is it so hard for you to sit with me for a couple of days?
I can see you're fine with this. It might be nothing to you, but it's not to me.
Tell me you wanted to marry for love.
That's right.
You still believe in fairy tales?
You're unbearable. And then we got into a violent and aggressive life. Kevin turned out to be a pig. He threw his clothes around, ate whatever he wanted, and watched movies loudly. I kicked him out into the hall and slept in the bedroom, but even from there, I could hear him playing games and munching his food. I used to just take to the bathroom for 2 hours. I would just do facials and hair masks twice a day.
Have you drowned in there?
Soon, honey, soon. Our 2 days dragged on for another 6 days, and then another week. The press diligently dug into our whereabouts, and our father said we were on a honeymoon, enjoying each other. Social media was under lockdown, as were friends. My only comfort was my pillow. I was going crazy in the swanky penthouse. I never thought my life would become like this. Kevin got bored and started making fun of me by throwing crumpled up papers at me, but I refused to react. Then he started messing with my things, and he started with the most sacred of all, my makeup. I was horrified when I saw my ruined powder. He expected an immediate reaction, but I decided to wait. At exactly 4:20 a.m., when his sleep was sound, I poured ice-cold water on him.
You should have seen him jump out of bed.
He ran after me, but I managed to lock myself in the bathroom. He was screaming and banging on the door until the administration admonished me, saying there were complaints from the neighbors. A couple of hours later, I opened the door gently, and Kevin was nowhere to be found. I tiptoed into the bedroom, and he attacked me from behind, hit me on the head with a pillow. "What did you hit me with?" I asked in shock. I grabbed another pillow from the couch, and we got into a fierce fight. We fought until the feathers were scattered all over the apartment. A couple of times, Kevin fell off his feet. I jumped on top of him and hit him with an almost empty pillow. He, unable to stand it, rolled me over, and we froze. Wow. In all these weeks of being in the same apartment, I was only now noticing how beautiful his eyes were. And then I came to my senses and coughed. Kevin got up off of me, and I ran to the bathroom. My heart was pounding. What was wrong with me? Was I tachycardic or something? The next day, we somehow avoided each other. Finally, our fathers told us that we could go out, but only together. Freedom! Finally! Kevin followed me, and like a madwoman, I swept all the new purses, shoes, and clothes off the shelves of the store. The press came up to us, and I made my husband smile with the heavy bags in his hands. The next day, he really got back at me. He took me to a soccer game, which I can't stand. I sat there surrounded by his rabidly loud friends, holding his pizza and soda while he cheered on his team. What a bastard. And then a ball flew at me. It hit me right in the soda glass. The sweet liquid got in my hair. It instantly clumped and my makeup flowed. Do you know what Kevin did? He laughed. 10 minutes later, the internet posted the most unfortunate photos of me in my entire life. And that's when I decided this was the start of a big war. I threw the food on the floor and ran away. Kevin fished me out at the exit.
"We can't be separated, wifey."
"I've had enough. No more of this circus." "They can see us." "I don't care. I'm tired." I came out of there, wanted to get into a car, but I didn't get to it. I was stolen by strangers. They put me forcibly into a car, put a bag on my head, and took me away somewhere. I woke up in a strange room. The first thing they said to me was, "Call your husband." Do you guys want to hear more? Then give me some likes, write yes in the comments, and I'll tell you all about it.